Up next, we do have Alyssa returning to the stage. Give it up for Alyssa.
Wow. As I'm sitting here today, I'm realizing like I have been creating an intention to welcome in new friends, like-minded friends, and new community. And I feel like my prayers have been answered. I'm so excited to make all of these beautiful new friends. Wayne, that was beautiful. Haley, that was just awesome. Powerhouse. Powerhouse. The truth sets us free, right? And you know my meditation, I just talked about meditation is the shit. So, I do have some cards on the table if you'd like my contact information, so you don't have to get out your phone or anything. They're just right here on the top. I do want to mention before I go into this next talk, I forgot to mention last time, I'm not necessarily saying that it's correct for you, but I want to make you aware of a therapy that is available. It's called biofeedback therapy, and it's actually with brain waves. And so what you actually do, they can connect an EEG machine and scan your brain, and they can see where all those brainwave states are under-aroused, hyper-aroused in different areas during your waking life. And then you go to, I'm actually in the middle of this myself. Like I said, I'm not necessarily saying that this is right for you. I'm just letting you know it's an option, because a lot of people don't realize it, because that industry doesn't make a whole lot of money, because they don't have pills or returning patients. So I'm actually just finished 13 sessions out of my 20 sessions. You get into front of a TV, and with your phone, you just watch stuff. They hook the machine up to you. There's no talk therapy. So if you've been in talk therapy for a long time, not getting anywhere, this might be a good thing for you. And they also do nutritional therapy paired with it, because the gut and the brain are connected. Those little buggies in your belly, the bacteria in your belly, really do control everything. So take care of your gut. I'm learning that lesson right now. I'll share that in another talk. So anyway, coming back. So we just had the spring equinox, right? And so in Latin, the spring equinox breaks down as equal night. So what's actually happening is 12 hours of dark and 12 hours of light are blending and balancing and welcoming in rebirth and fertility and creative energies and renewal. And so I took this experiment on to, like Wayne was saying, you know, we're mammals. Like Haley said, we're human. And like I was telling you, we are life. You see this theme here? So I took this experiment in life to lean into nature a little bit and try to mirror some of these seasonal energies and see what happens. And I've been really enjoying it, and I want to share that with you. So I actually just held a half-day retreat at the wetlands last Saturday, and it was called Rebirth, and it was all around these things. And a few days before that was the actual spring equinox. And I normally tell this talk in different variations, but I'm gonna go into I'm gonna be more vulnerable today, because actually how I told it at my retreat as well. So, springtime, it's all about regrowth, all about renewal. Summer, it's all about thriving, growing, and nurturing the seeds that you planted nourishing the seeds you planted in spring. In fall, it's the harvest season. Time to reap your harvest for what you birthed and what you grew, and start seeing some results. And then in winter, we pause. It's a time for listening. It's a time for reviewing what's going on and recognizing whatever's not growing is dead, and it's time to let that go. So that way, by the time spring equinox comes, you're able to already identify what you're letting go and what you're bringing in, and lean into these natural energies. So I have a formula, a mindset, a strategy to be able to help you with just that, and behavior change. Because we can intellectualize all we want, but unless we integrate and take action, ain't nothing gonna happen. So I have to quickly tell a story. And this is a story about wholeness. Wholeness is integrating all aspects of yourself, especially the aspects that we tend to neglect. We pretend they're not there, or we shame them or get them. So Trigger warning. In 2013, I got to a point in my life where the fear of things staying the same started outweighing the fear of change itself. You know that feeling? Yeah, like casters, like we've all been saying, okay, so as a coach, I've realized every single person I've worked with and now I've woken up to, we all don't feel good enough. That is like the game, is to transcend that illusion. So back in 2013, I suffered from the biggest loss of my life, and actually still biggest loss of my life today. I had an abortion. And what's really important for you to know about that is that I used to be a very, very private person, and I used to not share anything. I used to shame myself and not accept myself. So on the spring equinox, that Sunday this year, I was talking to a friend, and I just randomly told this story that I'm about to tell you, and it came out, and I realized I didn't have any emotion in it. Like, not really. Like, I felt it, and I was like, wow. I've been intentionally healing for so long, and I'm like, wow, that was really neat. And he asked me a really important question. He goes, do you carry any residual guilt? And I hadn't asked myself that question in a really long time. I've gone through many transformations. I'm pretty much unrecognizable. And so a few days later, interestingly on the new moon on Tuesday, I woke up that day and had an immediate epiphany that I knew that I was going to tell this version of the story with the truth. Because I fully accept myself. I no longer judge myself, and I'm not worried about your judgment. Because I know it was an emergency. In fact, I don't even need to tell you that. And that feels amazing. There's so much courage in this room. I feel your hearts. So back in 2013, I suffered this loss. And what's important for you to know is that I thought I was keeping it. And I was tracking each week. It's this size of the fruit. It's the size of the fruit. So I was mourning really, really bad. And as Cash said, I used to drink a ton. I was a 17-year-long binge drinker from age 14 to 31. I'm almost 5 years alcohol-free.
Right.
That's one of the many transformations I've been through. Oh, so lost 60 pounds and many other things. So,
Hell yes.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, what did I do? Like any normal person, I went to Burning Man. So I had told myself when this had happened that the laundry list of all the long things that I've been ignoring that I wanted to do in my life that I promised myself, I was going to do. And I was going to make something of my life. I was going to make something and mean it. I would not let that happen in vain. I would honor. It was my wake-up call. And you see, I didn't have religion or spirituality. Actually, in that time, I thought that organized religion and spirituality were the same thing. They're not. And so there's this temple there at Burning Man. And I knew about it, and I had been wanting to go to Burning Man for 8 years. And it's a really, really special place. And it's a very quiet place. And it's gorgeous. And it's at the same longitude and latitude each year. And it looks different each year. And it's a place for letting go and rebirth. You're able to write all over it, put pictures, put beautiful things. A lot of people come to mourn their loved ones who have ended this life cycle to start their wonderful adventure in whatever cycle starts after this. And it's quiet and it's healing and there's people there. I can't explain the energy because the mind can't explain with words an energy that is just to be experienced. So I realized I wanted to take my ultrasound picture because I kept holding on to it. And I was like, I don't know how healthy that is, but I didn't want to let that go. I was attached. And so I went to Burning Man, and I practically went alone. A few months before, I had met some random people here in this community, and found some people, and I went. And so I was kind of alone. So I went there, and I took the ultrasound picture, put it on the altar. I mourned stuff, because at that time, I told myself I needed to do that, because I didn't need to forget, but I needed to move forward. I was stuck. And so I went and I did this, and what's really beautiful is that Sunday of that week at Burning Man, they burn the temple. And so it's about a letting go. It's about a rebirth. And I had realized when I got home and I did my work, here comes the next year, because I actually fell in love with Burning Man. I fell in love with artists, and I found my people. And now I'm realizing today, as I was sitting here, I found my people. Thank you. I need you. So, let me catch my breath. So, I had wanted to go the next year, and I realized, I'm like, wow, that worked really well. I created a theme, and I applied it, and what new theme? I was doing pretty good. So now I'm like, okay, this is going to be a thing in my life. I'm going to take a life value that I'm neglecting, and I'm going to focus on wholeness, and I'm just going to do one each time around, and over time it's going to compound. 1% better every day, right? You'll see huge results over time. So one year it was getting out of my comfort zone. Another year it was accountability. One it was confidence. Some years I'm an overachiever, if you can't tell. Some years I have a couple because now I'm like in a momentum with it. So why I'm telling you this story is that what seeds are you planting for spring equinox? What life value are you neglecting? Your intuition already knows. It came up immediately. I know. Because I am you, and you are me. So, identify that, but where people get stuck is the actual integration part. People get stuck with the know-how. So that's what this formula, strategy, mindset is. Behavior change. Good news, you're not your habits or behaviors. And they're not your identity. Same thing with your beliefs. Your beliefs when you were 3, 8, 21, 31, whatever, those change. Be careful to not over-identify with your beliefs. It is not your identity. So, behavior change. There are 3 layers. For you visual learners, I want you to see a 3-ring bullseye. Okay? So one right here, and one right here. Okay? And so, behavior change, there's 3 steps. There's identity, process, and outcome. Identity, process, outcome. So when we take those looks, there's 2 different types of habits. There are identity-based habits and outcome-based habits. Outcome-based habits are when you're focused on a certain outcome, but you don't really care about how you're going to get there. Like you don't care about the character of who you're becoming on the inside. Now, we all have had those experiences. I've had them. Have you ever done days, weeks, months, years working on something just to achieve it and be like, okay, I'm here now. This doesn't exactly feel like I thought it would feel. And that hole in my chest is like, okay, well, great, I'm here now. Like, took 10 years, right? And so it's really important to ask ourselves why we want them in the first place. Is it our conditioning? Is it because I'm jealous and I want what they want because they look happy because I'm not making myself happy? Did society teach me that? Did I see it in a movie? Are these my parents' beliefs? Are these my religious community beliefs? Are these, so it's really important to ask yourself why you want it in the first place. Because if you're not connected in who you're becoming in the process, it's not for you. Your life values are your internal GPS system to make your choices and decisions in life. And when you use those because they're important to you, you will always build and create an aligned, beautiful life that is right for you. Because you're making choices and decisions around things that are important to you. You're not running your neighbor's race. So then there's identity-based habits. And that's all focusing on who you're becoming, what you're creating within you, what you're transcending. So with outcome-based habits, you're working from the outside in, that bullseye, outcome, process, identity. So with identity-based habits, you're working from the inside out, as within, as without. It's the process that we spend all of our time. Not the outcome, not the idea, it's the process. So if you're not enjoying the process, what the heck are you doing it anyway? Just because you can endure doesn't mean you should. So, this is really simple, and this is what's helped me throughout the years, be able to cultivate and compound these things to be able to help me, and I'm always gonna work on something. There is no finish line. there's always something to focus on. So focus on who you are becoming, and when you have to make your choices and decisions in life, ask yourself, is this somebody who has self-love? Whatever that thing that you identify in yourself, is this somebody who focuses on forgiveness? Am I becoming, who am I becoming? Is this something that an accountable person would do, a reliable person? Is this somebody who releases resentments? Is this somebody who allows themselves to have more fun? Is this somebody who allows them to have rest and relaxation? Is this somebody who went alcohol-free? Is that something that they would do? It's all about choices and decisions. Your beliefs create your attitudes. Your attitudes create your behaviors. And your behaviors are literally designing your life, but you're not your habits and behaviors. It's about the now and moving forward. It's really quite simple. And we get into the here and now, your body kind of knows what to do. The intelligence knows what to do. So I want you to humor me for a moment and close your eyes. I want you to start taking some deep belly breaths, deep in the diaphragm, full belly. And I want you to picture yourself. And I want you to picture yourself completely embodying that life value that you're going to be focusing on, that seed you're planting, who you're becoming. What do they look like? How's their hair done? What's the expression on their face? What's their body language like? What's their gestures like? Who is around them? How do people interact with them? You. How do you interact with others? What's your aura like? What color is your aura? How is your relationship with yourself? What type of opportunities are you coming in? Really embody it. Where you're creating a blueprint with your subconscious mind right now. Who are you becoming? So, I want you to repeat after me. I am worthy. I am capable.
I am capable.
I am loving.
I am loving.
I am lovable.
I am lovable.
I have a cute butt.
Yeah, right, do that.
Hell yeah. That's my favorite part. So, a few questions for you. What is possible once you're able to fully embody the seed that you're planting? What's possible?
Change.
And that's the essence of life. We are evolution. We are life. We are change. Lean into it. Be yourself. Be change. Be the change. What would happen if things didn't change at all? I was committing passive suicide for a long time, yeah.
Become still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Change.
And last question. How can you fill the need in your community and combine it and mix it with passion of yours? Because that's purpose. That's the key. That's the magic formula. Because it's something bigger than yourself. And we are, like I've been saying, we are all connected. So really think about this. And it doesn't have to be a job. It doesn't have to be a way you make money. Think big, and then think even bigger. Use your imagination. Everything that we see came from imagination. Humans, we're creating it. So this is the formula to help you integrate who you are becoming. I invite you to lean into the natural seasons, embrace those energies. Happy rebirth, happy spring equinox. You are worthy. And I'm really excited to see you thriving this summer. Thank you so much.
What loses more weight, the gym or vulnerability? I have no idea. I think vulnerability, right? Both? Personal trainer says both. So, right